Hello guys, how are you doing today? I'm doing pretty good actually. Thank you for not asking. I think I'm funny. Anyway, so today I'll be doing a photo study. This is a photo I just stumbled across on Pinterest. It's got everything I love. There is this samurai hat kind of thing going on. Also, there is noodles, and yeah, there is also some super soft, moody lighting going on with shadows and stuff, so I just had to draw it. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing today, and I really hope you like it. So usually when I do photo studies, I have specific intentions, like I've done in the past, just to explore shadows and light, or to study color harmony and stuff like that. But this one is just like the composition of it. So as I said earlier, the hair and the noodles and the lighting, also it kind of felt like it's still from a movie, but you can feel like there is something going on. I love the reference that has a feel like that, is this whole vibe. First I wasn't really sure if I'd go through with it. I didn't really think it would turn out anything much, to be honest. Even though I've been practicing for quite a while, I'm not very confident, but yeah, I really did it anyway. It turned out quite good actually. Yeah, so it's just very nice. What's wild is if I tried this painting even a few months ago, I'd probably would have skipped the whole shadow part entirely and would have played it safe. But I think after doing so many studies, even though especially after taking Chris's class, I just feel like, yeah, maybe I can try this, even if it's scary. It was scary actually, but it was so worth it. I really liked how it turned out. If I didn't do the shadow thingy, I don't think it would have made as much of an impact as it does now. So that said, I didn't actually finish the drawing itself. There are so many things I could have gone in and fixed, like the chopsticks. I don't think it is like the voiceover is going to be synced with the video itself, so I will put capture of what I'm talking about is actually in the last of the painting. So yeah, like I was saying, and like the chopsticks, they were supposed to go over the fingers, right? And I also gonna do something in the background, maybe a nice soft wash of paint to tie everything together, but I was really impatient, so I just gonna stopped. But I don't really mind it, to be honest, being keeping it unfinished. Not everything has to be wrapped up in a neat little bow, right? Lately, I've been trying not to take studies so seriously, not in a who cares kind of way, but more like letting myself just be curious again, because I feel like I was getting too in my head, like everything has to be perfect and portfolio worthy and everything. Yeah, I mean, first of all, half of the study is gonna end up in a box in my bedroom floor, okay? So let's be real. But more than that, I was letting perfectionism totally paralyzed me, and I've had a struggle with perfectionism for the longest time, and I still do struggle with it, of course. The main thing I couldn't start things unless and until I have every step nailed down and planned perfectly, and that's never going to happen, right? There is lots of moving parts, and it takes ages for I will just sitting and staring at my screen, And another thing is, I couldn't leave things unfinished. It just feels like a failure, to be honest. That pressure of making things perfect, it's just makes me stop wanting to draw at all. So yeah, that is quite counterproductive, isn't it? So this year I really did work on my perfectionism. And I told myself just to make stuff, even if no one has to see them, even if it's messy, it's just, sketchbook pages. And weirdly, that made me want to draw again. This piece reminded of that. I didn't overthink it. I just started, I let it become whatever it wanted to be. And that felt kind of nice, yeah. I also used to think like every study has to be cleaned, like presentable, but now I really love how they are a little rough and underfinished, if that makes sense. With that being said, I'm not really sure where I'm going from here. Like, I started this year super inspired, took very many classes, tried new things, did loads of studies, and now I'm kind of like, okay, now what? I think the next step is to be figuring out how to apply what I've learned in my original work. But outside that, I don't have any idea what I'm to do next. I'm just, don't have any plan. I'm just winging it, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's where I'm at in my artistic journey wise and an artistry wise. Well, anyway, you know what I mean. So when I was thinking about what to talk about in this voiceover, I couldn't quite figure out what else to say. So whenever I post a reel or whatever on my Instagram, I get lots of questions on what kind of art supply you use. So I thought I would talk about a little bit, so that just to fill up the space, I suppose. So as usual, I'm using Holbein gouache mixed with watercolor. My watercolors are from, actually, it's a mix of Sakura Koi watercolor and Art Philosophy pens, and also White Night paints. So yeah, all mixed together. For my brushes, I keep it very, very simple. Actually, all my brushes are from Princeton, and I use brush of size 4 and 10, whatever that is clean. For my painting stuff, for details, I use a smaller brush of size like 0 to 3x0, and I don't really switch brushes often because I get overwhelmed easily, so I like to keep things minimal. You can see my minimalism in my art as well. So yeah, I like to keep things very, very simple. So for the paper, I'm using Bao paper. They actually sent me some of their paper to try out a while back, so I'm using it ever since, to be honest. It's really nice. It's not as good as Arches in my opinion, but it's really, really good and cheaper, so I really highly recommend, to be honest. Definitely worth trying. So yeah, also, did you see that it was first time I was able to use masking fluid like successfully? I have tried so many times, never have I ever been able to execute it as well as other beloved artists do seem to be able to use, but this one was not quite as bad in my opinion. Yeah, what else? Turned out, as I said, it would have turned out quite flat if I didn't do the shadow thing, but since I did it, even though I was scared, it turned out very well, to be honest. So yeah, I hope you liked it, and so yeah, that's all for today now. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for sitting with me and hanging out while I rambled. And if you're also in this I don't know what I'm doing but trying kind of phase, I am in the same phase as well, so we can be confused together. I mean, yeah, so yeah, thank you so much for watching. It means more than I can ever say, to be honest. Thank you, thanks again. I'm saying thank you way too many times, but hey, I'll see you in my next one. Bye!